What's up, everybody, and welcome back to All the Things Sorta Truth, the podcast where we get down to the truth of the Sorta Truth series. I just said truth a whole lot of times.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm Nate.
I'm Jade.
And this week we are going to be getting into Chapter 4 of Wizard's First Rule.
Heck yes, we are. So, getting into the news this week, I only have a few little things. The first thing I'm going to mention is Book 4 in the Nikki Chronicles, Heart of Black Ice, is coming out January 2020. I did not realize that this was coming out at all. I didn't know that they were going to do a fourth book.
No, I kind of thought it was a trilogy, and the way that the last book ended, and no spoilers, but I mean, it kind of set it up for another thing, but I mean, all the books kind of end that way a little bit.
Yeah, he usually leaves it kind of open-worlded. I need you to not give spoilers because I myself have not finished that trilogy.
I would not dare, especially not on this podcast. I feel like there would be a lot of people pissed off if we just started letting spoilers fly.
Like 17 books in the future.
Oh, right.
That's probably a low number, actually.
And I would like to say that that's one of the cool things about these books, is that they do all tie in. So while that is very cool, we need to be very careful to not spoil anything for that listener who maybe hasn't gotten all the way through them yet. And I know they're on the Facebook page.
Right.
We can see some people say, hey, I just started Wizard's First Rule for the first time. And I'm like, hell yeah. When I see somebody say that, go 2 posts down and somebody's talking book 20 stuff. And it's like, easy.
I got yelled at in the Facebook group. I made a comment about chapter, what was it, the last chapter that we did, chapter 3, and I didn't put a spoiler warning because in my head, I didn't think it was really a spoiler, but I got called out on there and said, hey, you already broke a rule. What's one more rule? And I apologized and had to edit my post because, yeah, you don't want to be a big old dick and spoil stuff for people. Which, thank you for calling me out, but also, we don't want to get kicked out of that group. So that was another thing I wanted to mention, is that we really, really appreciate all the feedback that we're getting in the official Terry Goodkind and Sort of Truth Book Club group on Facebook. We are really, really appreciating all of that feedback and the support, and anybody who shares the page on there. We are super appreciative of that because I'm super scared to share it on there and get called out by Terry or Rob, who are the only 2 admins of that page. Believe me, I checked.
Yeah, we have been doing our research.
Because you can't advertise in there, and I don't know where that line falls. But I want to share with all of you people. So, if you have any ideas, let me know. Send us an email, get at us on Facebook or Instagram. I'm going to give you guys our handles in just a second. I also wanted to mention our Facebook might seem a little bit dead right now, but we welcome people to share theories, ideas, literally anything. Tell us how your day is on there. I will send you a funny meme. Anything on there. We got one of our followers posted on one of our podcast links the other day about how there was another podcast called Wizard's First Rule that I think me and Nate had seen, but this guy mentioned that there was a podcast named Wizard's First Rule and that they had ended just a couple episodes after, but they were mostly based on the TV show, so they quit when the TV show was over with. So I'm kind of glad they quit, because now that led the way for us. I don't think we would have started it if we would have had other people doing something like this.
That's true. And one more point on our Facebook page. Right now, it's basically populated with the episodes. After we upload one, we always put a copy up on our Facebook page. But that's definitely going to become a spot where we give news for the channel. And I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but Jade and I may have gotten our hands on some books that we are going to give away in the near future. So you might want to hang out on our Facebook page to wait for those.
Absolutely. There's a whole lot more that I plan on doing with that Facebook page. Actually, I've been talking about either going live pretty soon or recording a video for you guys, just to let everybody know exactly what's going on with that Facebook page, because we do have more than one podcast. It might be a little bit confusing, but we really, really encourage interaction on there. When you're on Facebook, just search for All the Things or Podcast ATT. Our Gmail is podcastatt@gmail.com, and our Instagram is also @podcastatt. Super simple. The only one that's a little bit different is Twitter, and that's podcast_ATT. We also have a Patreon if you're interested in helping us grow.
That's right, we do. You can go ahead and get on patreon.com/allthethings to find us on there. And you can leave us a pledge that helps us out immensely. Thank you in advance. And I also have to take a second and give a shout out to our current #1 patron, Aaron Duddles. What's up, buddy? And thank you very, very much for your pledge. Aaron is enjoying deep cuts right now from both of our podcasts and gag reels, which we will have more of from this current podcast in the future. And also, he's getting episodes at least a day, sometimes 2 days, earlier than the rest of you. So if that's something you guys want to get down on, make sure you hop on our Patreon. It helps us out. It helps you out. Everybody goes home happy.
You don't gotta be jealous of Aaron.
No, you don't have to be. Even though he is pretty fucking awesome, I'm just going to go out there and say. High bar. It's a high bar.
I like him a whole lot.
Well, I think that pretty much covers our housekeeping for this episode. I say we get into it.
I'm super stoked to get into this episode.
Me too. Shall we?
Yeah, let's go, babe.
All right. In this chapter, Richard and Kahlan try to feel out each other's secrets, and Richard attempts to get his knife back before heading back to Zed's house.
So as we open the chapter, they're walking through the woods, and he's trying to work her over for information. And
super subtly.
Yeah, it's not working so well.
No.
She wipes blood off of herself for the second time since we've seen her, because she's a badass.
Yeah, she's wiping the blood that she drew from Richard's brother after he basically sexually harassed her.
Yeah.
She drove her nail into his flesh to get him off. Worked super, super well, might I add.
When you scratch somebody and you draw blood, a lot of times it doesn't happen right away. It takes like a minute or so for it to rise to the surface, and then it's not a whole lot of blood. What she did was not that.
No, it sounds like she drove her nail in pretty deep.
Yeah.
In order to have to wipe blood off of your finger, she got in there and went for it. But it also kind of makes me laugh because I can picture Michael's face as she's burying her nail into his skin. He's doing that faux tough guy look, like, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. And then she gets to that point where it's like below the nerve line in your skin. He's like, ow. Oh shit, ow. And he can't fake it anymore. And he has to give and kind of be like, okay, ow, knock it off. It's just the way I picture it. It's not the way it's written, but I like to picture Michael wussing out, not being able to handle it and having to like push her hand away real quick.
I think that's exactly how it went, because it does say that for a minute he kind of stares her down and then he backs off and lets her go. And I think that's exactly how it goes. I think he tries to be like, what, you're going to try to push me off of you or whatever. And then it works.
Can't fuck me up. I'm unfuckable. Oh, wait.
Oh, shit. Kahlan tells Richard that Michael's jealous of Richard, and that's the only reason that he acted that way. And Richard doesn't really give a shit because he's just pissed at him for acting like an idiot.
Yeah, this is a new person that I've just now introduced you to. And the first thing you do, sexual harassment.
Dude, I liked her. What the fuck was that?
Really setting the bar there, buddy. Yeah, talk about embarrassing family member. Dude, what the hell was that?
I was trying to show you off, like my brother. He's a fucking...
My brother, the soon-to-be president, and that's the impression that he makes of himself. Cool.
Cool. Yeah, great. Heartland, really a place you want to be, right?
Yeah.
And Richard obviously has dealt with Michael's jealousy before, because the first thing he asks Kahlan is if the reason people are after her is because she's perceptive, because she can obviously read people like a fucking book.
Well, and that also brought up a question for me. It kind of seems like he's trying to ask her if she saw something, since she is so perceptive. Like, hey, did you maybe witness something that you weren't supposed to witness? Or did you pick up on something that somebody didn't want you to notice? Is that why you're being followed? And she is a true ace when it comes to skirting his questions concerning things like that. But it was one of those subtle details that were in the book that really makes you think, like, wait, now, he still doesn't know exactly what it is the deal with her is. She picks up on things. She notices things. That could be a fault, too. That's not necessarily a great thing.
It also lets you know that he is perceptive, too, because that definitely wouldn't have been my first guess. Like, oh, you read people really well. That's why people are following you, right? Because you read somebody real deep, right? Or you saw something, and, like, I would have definitely jumped to a totally different assumption.
Right, and it may not lay everything completely out for you, but it gives you a lot of insight into what kind of person she might have been.
Right. And she says that it's actually because the people that are following her are afraid of truth, and Richard isn't, and that's why she trusts him. That's why she's totally cool with him being her, like, companion on this little trail they're going on. And Richard says, well, yeah, after all, I am the seeker of truth.
Oh, he said the thing!
That's really funny. Whenever she stops dead, and, I mean, I did too. Every time I read it, I'm like, ah! It's like the Family Guy episode.
I love that episode. I must become Superman 4. Quest for Krypton, or whatever it was.
Yeah, then Richard goes into asking who those people are. And she says they're followers of an evil man named Darkenrawl. Which, come on, did you really need to say he was evil?
His name is Darken, after all.
Literally Darkenrawl. Of all the villains that you've ever met, I feel like Darkenrawl is one of the most plainly named villains.
Yeah, I mean, the last name, Rawl, doesn't really imply anything one way or another. But the first name of Darken, it's like, who would name your child Darken? Dude, you're literally naming it Dark. Nothing light, nothing happy, all sinister.
Your innocent little baby, you're like, oh yeah. He's a Darken, for sure.
He's gonna be a brutal son of a bitch. I would like to add real quick. On the Facebook group we had mentioned earlier, there was a girl who posted a picture of her puppy and was looking for sort of truth-themed names for it. And I had suggested Barkenrawl, and I still stand by that, even though her puppy was a girl. So it wouldn't have really worked. I was just kind of proud of that name, and I think it's a solid go-to.
It is. We've talked about our puppies' names in the future, but our son actually asked me the other day if we had decided for sure on our puppy name for the future, and I told him it's open, but only because I'm not sure if I've decided for sure, because I have like 6 different names.
Yeah, we've decided that we are definitely going to get a pit bull puppy, but it really just depends on which color that puppy is to which name we're going to give it. And also the gender, because that matters.
Honestly, I don't really care. I just want a puppy.
I just want a puppy. Yeah, I really can't blame you for that. I do too. But side note, and then we will definitely get right back to it.